This morning, in a matter of a few hours, the terminal went from around $18 to $7.50. And one of the biggest reasons behind that price change? Bot farms. Now, I know most of you think bots are a plague on this game, and that the consensus is that they need to be eliminated as fast as possible. But I'm here to tell you that your opinion is wrong, and it's also actively working against your very own interests. And I'm not going to prove it to you by taking random guesses. I'm going to prove it with data from this market and concepts typically found in most economic spaces. So with that, let's start with the background. The terminal last week released on a Wednesday. Now that is a key date because on Tuesday is when the weekly drops typically reset. Now not all players, but most of them tend to get those weekly drops on that Tuesday. Which means that when the terminal actually went live, a lot of people weren't eligible to get it this first week, leading to a subsequent higher price point on the market for the first 6 days. The supply pool was a fraction of what it normally would be, which of course led to higher prices. Well, you have the bot farms to thank, because they're the ones who weren't able to earn drops last week, and that's why the prices were so high. And I know half of you are going to type, bot farms are a plague, they're disgusting, yada yada yada. I don't give a fuck. They're one of the best things to happen to this economy, and you, who just bought a terminal for $7 instead of $20, are one of the beneficiaries of this system. And Valve does ban bots, but they only do it at very specific times and for a very specific reason, which I'll get to. But before you close this video and leave a stupid fucking comment, give me 10 minutes to explain, and by the end of it, you'll either agree with me or at least see where the point is coming from. Now, what we just lived through with the dead hand terminal was something you don't really see in a lot of live markets, an experiment. Week 1, the terminal drops a day after most bot farms and most players typically collect their weekly drops. No eligibility to redeem the new terminals, which meant that the supply was organic by way of just players playing the game in low enough quantity to justify that price point. And the result sucks for buyers. Low supply, high prices. Week 2, we see a completely different landscape. Now, every single person who gets on the game is eligible for the new terminal, including the thousands of bot accounts that exist solely to farm drops and list them. And the result, prices go down to $7.50 in under 12 hours. Same item, right? A relative equal amount of demand, right? It couldn't have gone down too much in 6 days. So the only variable that changed was participation. Now, were there more players eligible that are just normal players this week? Yes, absolutely. Most players do earn their drops on Tuesday. And that absolutely played a part, but the speed and the scale of the price moving this drastically is not going to happen with just players alone. The majority of what hit the market in the last couple of hours is through the faucet. So this is as close to an experiment as you can get in an economic market. Week 1 was the control, just players. Week 2 was the experiment group, bots and players. And the experiment worked if you're a buyer, right? You're paying $13 less for a terminal right now. You've benefited from the bot. Now, if you still think bots should be banned, let's understand what bots actually do, what their purpose is in existing, and why Valve lets them exist to a degree. This is what they do. This is not what you think they do. This is not what Reddit tells you they do. This is what they actually do and what purpose they provide. So let's use an example. Imagine Valve owns a playground next to your house. And inside the playground, there's a little hub where you can trade a bunch of cool toys and knickknacks. Now, to incentivize people to come in, Valve gives you a free toy to play around with and sell on the market just so you enter the park and hang out. Valve doesn't care about the things they're giving you, right? Because at the marketplace inside the park, they take a cut off of every sale. Now, some of the kids, they figured out, hey, if I just bring a bunch of my friends, we can all go together, all grab a free toy, and then go sell it there and have a bunch of money for ourselves. Those are the bot farmers, and they go straight to Valve, they grab their free toy, they go sell it on the marketplace, and then they promptly exit. Every single time. They never hold, they never collect. Reason being, I'll get to in a moment. So what these kids are doing, that's a real economic phenomenon. And it has a name. What they're doing is providing liquidity. Bots are a supply faucet. While some kids may go to the park, take their free toy and keep it in their pocket for a few months, waiting for the price to go up, the liquidity providers don't do that. They simply take the item and then go sell it immediately. Now there's a trade-off here. It's fantastic for buyers with these liquidity providers in the ecosystem. For sellers, not so much, right? They're driving down your prices, constantly undercutting you, and making it hard for you, the seller, to sell at a decent price. Well, at least for now. Because what happens when Valve starts handing out different toys and the old toys they used to hand out get discontinued? Well, then the price starts to go up because the liquidity providers are now not supplying that specific toy. So if you're a seller, you could still profit, but you have to take the trade-off of waiting a little bit of time. Same goes for collectors. You're not going to be able to profit off of the free toy you get each week, but if you hold on to it long enough, that window just becomes an accumulation window, not a time for you to make profit. Not just every terminal, but every case in the active pools right now, they're so low priced because the bots keep listing them and listing them. Now that may hurt your investment now, but in 2 years when it gets discontinued, it doesn't really matter anymore how many bots put out there. Because once it gets discontinued, the bots no longer play any part of a role in the price action of that specific asset, and thus prices start to accumulate. So if you're an investor, the bots aren't hurting you. In fact, they're making your position easier and cheaper to get into. Remember that, I'll come back to it, but for now, a word from our sponsor, skins.com. Skins.com is the first marketplace for Westerners on Chinese CS2 skins. Purchase from an extensive list of items or insta-sell your skins and withdraw it from a variety of methods, including bank transfer or crypto. For an insta-sell website, these are truly some of the best rates I've ever seen, and they are soon launching a peer-to-peer trading system to compete with some of the biggest players within the market. So why not get started now and get used to the website? Try out skins.com. Now, why would Valve want this? Why would Valve want prices to go down? Well, it's because they earn nothing from the toys they give out or the skins they give out every week. These are free items given to players for free in turn for playing the game. Valve doesn't really care if prices of the terminal go from $20 to $7. In fact, they want it to, because Valve makes money on circulation. Every time an item changes hands on the Steam community market, 15%. Not 50% of the items, 15% on the movement of items. So what does Valve want more of in this marketplace? Volume. When a terminal's $20, fewer people can afford it. The people that can afford it think twice before they purchase it. When it's $7.50, there's a ton more buyers. More transactions, more fees, more revenue, Valve wins. Now, if you're Valve and you want that maximum transaction volume happening on a daily basis and at a minimum cost to yourself, what's the dream? The dream is a system where supply is constantly, reliably flowing into the marketplace. Not in bursts, not hoarded and then dumped upon news. Consistent, reliable supply flow. Now, they could build that themselves, but that would cost time and money. Why do that when there's bot farmers in China doing it for them for free? Depending on where you are in the world, the bot farms can be profitable. So they win, and Valve wins, and you win. And it stops being a theory when we realize and notice that Valve actually bans bots at a specific time every year. So we know they have the detection in place. Why aren't they doing it all the time? Well, it's because they benefit from these bots. It's not negligence. They want bots to be here, but they do have to ban them sometimes. Because think about what happens if Valve never bans a bot account. Now, the bots' incentives change quite a bit. Because if you know you'll never lose your inventory, well then your incentive is then to actively hoard the weekly drops and then sell upon them getting discontinued, right? You would accumulate, then dump everything at peak prices, maximizing your profit. That's what any rational actor would do in a marketplace, especially when your acquisition cost is $0, right? Simply stockpile and then time the market. But that behavior is useless to Valve. They want more transactions. They want more revenue. They want more 15% cuts. If the bots just hoard and hoard and hoard, well then they're not really providing anything of value to Valve, now are they? But because Valve periodically and intermittently bans bot accounts, you actually sort of guide the bot farmers to do a certain behavior without actively forcing it. Now, the script flips a little bit. Every day you sit on inventory is another day you risk being banned and losing everything in it. So, the optimal strategy changes for the bot farmers. They instead are incentivized to sell immediately, taking the profits right away, as opposed to holding and timing for the best maximum amount of profit. And that is the behavior that Valve wants precisely. The ban isn't the punishment. The threat of the ban is the punishment. It's not about controlling price levels. Valve wants the prices to be lower, right? If you want to make profit, go look at the discontinued cases. It's about controlling seller behavior, making sure that supply faucet is running steadily and not accumulating, building up like a dam. So Valve has engineered a system where the bot farmer's most rational, self-interested decision perfectly aligns with Valve's revenue model. The bots think they're gaming the system. They are the system. Remember the analogy we talked about? Well, now add in the park ranger. The park ranger comes in and he kicks out anyone who shows up in groups higher than 10 or 20. So if you're one of the bots holding a bunch of shit in your pockets when you get kicked out, well, now you can't sell on the marketplace anymore. You just held all that shit for nothing. The smart move is to be the person not holding anything when you get kicked out. All you hear out of every stupid Redditor's mouth, every Twitter post, every YouTube comment, bots are bad, and prices are too high. You have to choose. You either get no bots, a lower player count, which subsequently hurts the outlook of the game from a consensus perspective, and higher prices across the board, or you get bots, accessible pricing, a liquid market, a higher player count, and every once in a while you'll have to leave a deathmatch game because there's a bunch of bots in it. You choose. Because there is no version of this economy where you get cheap prices and no bots. The bots are the reason why the stuff in the active pools are cheap. And if you're a collector or an investor, remember what I said earlier. This is your time to accumulate. Bots drive down prices, making your entries cheaper. That's why the recoil case doubled in price overnight as soon as it left the active pools, because people have now priced in the fact that bots won't be supplying recoil cases ever again. The terminals won't be weekly drops forever either. And the day that item rotates out, that's it. No more supply. No more supply from players, but more importantly, no more supply from bots. The prices you're complaining about today for being too low for your weekly drop are the prices you're gonna wish you bought at 6 months from now. Bots are making everything cheaper, more accessible, and higher profitability for you, and you're complaining about it. You are a brickhead. Valve, whether you like it or not, has already done the math and already made their choice. They chose the version with bots because they're a smart company about their money. This is why all their employees make $1 million a year. Because it's the most optimized system that makes them the most money, makes the bot farmers a decent amount of money, and makes you a happier customer. So as soon as you hop off your fucking high horse and stop complaining about bots because it's something to complain about, realize that they're actually beneficial to you. So if someone starts complaining about bot farms next to you, ask them if they'd rather go out and buy a terminal right now or a glove case. Peace.